Hi, I'm Olivia from Wilkinson Cameras. After spending some quality time with the Fujifilm GFX100RF, I can confidently say this camera has made large format photography more accessible and enjoyable than ever before. I already shared my initial thoughts in a first look video over on our YouTube channel, but after properly using it in various scenarios, I have a clearer picture of where it shines and where it might not be for everyone. This review will be more about a real-world experience rather than rattling off specifications, so let's get into it. Straight out of the box, the GFX100RF feels premium. It's compact for a large format camera, lightweight and beautifully designed with that classic Fujifilm tactile charm. The aluminium body, manual dials and offset viewfinder all contribute to a shooting experience that feels intuitive and engaging. It's one of those cameras that makes you want to go out and take photos, which is always a good sign. Not only does it feel good in the hands, but it's also packed with technology derived from the exceptional GFX100S2. One of the biggest selling points for me is its size and weight. At 735 grams, it's far more portable than its GFX siblings like the 100 Mark II and 100S Mark II, making it a genuine option for everyday carry. It fits nicely in a small bag. I had it with the Peak Design 7-litre outdoor sling, and this was a perfect size for the GFX camera and more kit. And because of the rangefinder style viewfinder, it's comfortable to shoot with for long periods without feeling cumbersome. The dials are smooth and satisfying to use, making exposure adjustments feel more like a deliberate creative choice rather than a fiddly task. I also love the new aspect ratio dial. It's such a simple but effective way to experiment with different compositions on the go. You can't use it in video, which I thought was a real shame because it would make delivering different outputs so much easier. The more I used the camera, the more I found myself not pulling the camera away from my eye when making adjustments. This was great because it meant that I could focus on my composition and the people within my frame. Another dial I found myself using and enjoying a lot was the digital teleconverter dial on the front of the camera. This was great for composing different shots. The dial itself feels purposeful and tactile, but just note that you can't customize this to any other function within camera. The button/lever on the front of the camera is super customizable, so I changed the button to control ring settings and the lever to ND on and off and EVF control. This meant I could react fast and capture the shot quickly and efficiently while still applying a creative input. The more time I spent with the camera, the more I customized it. I decided, oh, wouldn't it be great if I had film simulations on my lens control ring like the X100 did, so I changed it. Then I thought, I need quick access to the built-in ND filter for long exposure and video, so I customized it to the lever. You hold it for a few seconds to apply the ND and then hold it again to turn it off. That's the beauty of these premium Fujifilm compacts. They're so customizable. The Fujifilm GFX100RF has a high-resolution 5.76 million OLED viewfinder with approximately 100% coverage. So what you see is exactly what you capture. It has a 0.84 times magnification and a 24mm eye point, making it comfortable to use even with glasses, which was great for me. Plus, the built-in eye sensor automatically switches between the viewfinder and the screen when you bring the camera to your eye. On the back of the camera, there's a 3.15-inch tilting touchscreen with approximately 2.1 million dots, giving you a sharp and responsive display for composing shots, reviewing images and navigating menus with ease. The camera takes around 0.6 seconds to boot up, so not instantly, but still very quick. It takes an NP-W235 battery like the other GFX cameras, so we know it will be sufficient. I changed my battery once, which was at the end of the day, so battery life was very good. I didn't personally experience any overheating and I was shooting stills and video, but that doesn't mean that you won't. It depends on the conditions that you're shooting in. I was turning the camera off every time I wasn't using it, so there could be potential for overheating if you were to use it over a few hours. Moving on to image quality and performance, This is where the GFX100RF truly shines. That 102 megapixel sensor is simply incredible, delivering outstanding detail, dynamic range and colour depth. I've shot it with various lighting conditions and the amount of detail it retains in highlights and shadows is very good. Fujifilm's film simulations are as good as ever, and with 20 options to choose from, there's plenty of creative flexibility. The files are also surprisingly malleable in post, with the large format sensor providing a very natural and cinematic depth to the image. Low light performance is solid thanks to the improved micro lens layout. Even at higher ISOs, noise is well controlled and images retain good colour and sharpness. You can see here a beautiful capture of the nightlife in Prague. As I increase the exposure, you can see in the very dark areas surrounding the centre frame that a lot of the detail is still captured. At night, I shot around 6400 ISO, and yes, you will expect to see some noise, but honestly, I was so surprised with how much detail and dynamic range the camera still managed to retain. For the drive modes, you have a variety, starting with bracketing. You can choose from auto exposure, film simulations, dynamic range, ISO, sensitivity, white balance, multiple exposures, and focus bracketing. So there's plenty of creativity within the bracketing modes alone. The Fujifilm GFX100RF offers a versatile shutter system, including a mechanical shutter with speeds at up to 4,000th of a second and an electronic shutter extending to 16,000th of a second. The mechanical shutter supports burst shooting at up to 6 frames per second, while the electronic shutter reaches 3 frames per second. In continuous shooting, the camera can capture over 1,000 JPEGs in certain modes, but raw buffer sizes vary depending on the compression. I did experience a few buffer delays when shooting at high burst rates, and I was using a fast UHS 2 card. While the electronic shutter enables ultra fast speeds, it's not ideal for fast moving subjects or handheld shooting due to potential rolling shutter effects. Onto autofocus and usability, the X Processor 5 uses an updated AF prediction algorithm, subject detection AF and deep learning AI technology. But autofocus has always been a sticking point with medium, large format cameras, but Fujifilm has done a great job improving it here. It offers a fast and intelligent hybrid autofocus system combining contrast and phase detection AF for accuracy in various lighting conditions. It performs well even in low light, with phase detection working down to -3 EV. You can choose from single point AF, zone AF with customizable focus areas, or full area AF for more flexibility. The camera also includes subject detection AF, which can recognize and track animals, birds, cars, motorcycles, aeroplanes and trains, making it easier to keep moving subjects in sharp focus. Face and eye detection work well, even in tricky lighting situations. It's not as lightning fast as something like the X-H2S, but it's more than capable for the type of photography this camera is aimed at. The digital teleconverter is a nice touch. It's not something I expected to use much, but it proved pretty handy for quick framing adjustments without needing to crop in post, and I found myself using it quite a lot. Even at 80mm crop, you can see how much detail is retained. This image of the pigeon makes me laugh every time I see it. At 35mm, you wouldn't even know that it's there, but at 80mm, you can see the pigeon is planning its next poop victim. And luckily, I wasn't the victim, which is all good. For those that shoot in RAW for better image quality, the RAW file saves your shooting settings. So when importing into Lightroom, you can also choose to transfer your camera settings as well. So it will remember what film simulation, crop, or aspect ratio you shot in. As you can see here, I shot in 1:1 aspect ratio with a crop, but in the raw data, the camera has captured the whole image across the sensor, so you can still alter and/or change things up in post-production. If you shoot in JPEG, then whatever aspect ratio, film simulation or crop you shoot in will be baked into the file, so you won't be able to change this in post. So I recommend always shooting in both JPEG and RAW, or just RAW if you want to save some space on your cards. Now moving on to the lens. The 35mm f4 lens, which is about 28mm in full frame terms and somewhere in the region of f3.2 in full frame, is a great match for this style of camera. It's sharp, compact and versatile enough for a range of subjects. The minimum focus distance of 20 centimeters is handy for close-up shots, giving a lovely large format depth of field effect. Some people wish the GF 35mm f4 had a wider aperture for more background blur, but it's important to understand how medium format works. On this camera, f4 gives you a similar look to f3.2 on full frame. So while it won't give you extreme bokeh like an f1.8 lens, you get a more natural and gradual blur rather than a harsh separation between the subject and the background. This makes it great for environmental portraits or storytelling shots where you want detail but still a soft, pleasing fall off. Plus, the medium format sensor still gives you stunning image quality and dynamic range, which is what really makes the GFX system so special. The light gathering ability remains the same as an f4 lens on any system, so your exposure settings won't change, meaning no extra brightness in low light situations. However, as you saw earlier in the video, the GFX100RF has an excellent dynamic range for those tricky lighting conditions. The leaf shutter is another highlight. It's whisper quiet and allows for flash sync at any shutter speed, which is a dream for studio and flash work. Unfortunately, I didn't get to test this, so I can't say too much about it from personal experience. The built-in 4-stop ND filter is a brilliant addition, making it easier to shoot wide open in bright conditions or experiment with long exposure. I use the built-in ND filter a lot for video because the daylight was so strong, so I needed that extra exposure control to create any form of depth. Now, while it's not the main focus, the GFX100RF does a respectable job with video. It offers 4K DCI and UHD recording for high quality footage. It supports Apple ProRes 422 HQ, ProRes 422, ProRes 422 LT and H.264 and H.265 formats, giving filmmakers plenty of flexibility where video is concerned. Frame rates go up to 30 frames per second in 4K and 60 in full HD with options for all intra and long op compression. High-speed SD cards or external SSD recording are recommended for the best performance in video, especially for ProRes codecs. While recording times may vary based on temperature and settings, the GFX100RF delivers cinematic image quality with rich colour and detail. The inclusion of digital image stabilization helps with handheld shooting, though it's still best used on a tripod or gimbal for serious video work. All my video samples are shot handheld with digital IBIS. But when using digital IBIS on any branded camera, I refrain from too much movement because you tend to see wobbly edges. So you'll see in these examples that the movement is very still and controlled, and as a result, the video is pleasing to watch. However, when you move a bit too quickly or have a wobbly setup, you'll start to see shifts in the framing, as you can see in this footage. So this is definitely something to bear in mind. I mainly filmed in film simulations because I loved the look of them, especially in Prague because it's such a colourful city. However, you have the option to shoot in F-Log2, which offers a wider dynamic range than the original F-Log with up to 14 plus stops. So things to consider with the GFX100RF. While I loved using this camera, there are a few things to keep in mind. One, it's a fixed lens at 35mm focal length. It's still versatile, but it won't suit every style of photography. This might not be the right choice if you need different focal lengths or looks, but do bear in mind that you can crop, so you do have the flexibility of doing that. Two, there's no IBIS. Unlike the GFX100S, there's no in-body image stabilization, which means slower shutter speeds require a steady hand or a tripod. Three, price. It's still a premium product, and while it's more affordable than some GFX models, it's not exactly affordable to the average folk, but you do get what you pay for. So my final thoughts on the GFX100RF is that the camera prioritises the joy of photography. It's beautifully designed, produces exceptional images, and is finally a large format option that doesn't feel like a burden to carry around. It isn't just a camera, it's a creative tool designed for those who see photography as an art form rather than just a means to an end. Unlike cameras built purely for speed and efficiency, the GFX100RF prioritises image quality, depth and emotion. The large format sensor produces a unique look that full-frame cameras simply can't replicate, with a more natural depth of field and richness in tonality that elevates every single shot. So this isn't the kind of camera you grab to rush through a shoot or fire off hundreds of frames in seconds. Instead, it encourages a more thoughtful, intentional approach to photography, where every composition is carefully considered and every frame is a piece of art. While it's fully capable of handling professional work, the GFX100RF is about more than just getting the job done. It's about enjoying the process of creating, immersing yourself in the scene and capturing something truly meaningful. The camera prioritises portability and simplicity, which means some trade-offs like a lack of IBIS or a faster lens. But that's also what makes it so special. Rather than chasing versatility, it embraces a fixed lens, medium format experience that will appeal to photographers who enjoy a more intentional, immersive approach. It takes inspiration from the X100 but instead of being built for fast-paced street photography, it leans into documentary storytelling and fine artwork. So if you need stabilization and a brighter lens for low light, this might not be the perfect fit, but for those who love the challenge and character of a fixed lens medium format camera, the GFX100RF is something truly unique. And who knows, Fujifilm could very well bring a larger IBIS equipped version in the future. So what are your thoughts? Hopefully I've answered some of your questions about the Fujifilm GFX100RF. It really is a great camera. But that's it for today's video. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to our channel. We're nearly at 10k subscribers, which is super exciting. Head to www.wilkinson.co.uk to place an order or visit us in one of our North-based stores to get hands-on when demo units come in. I will leave relevant links in the description box below if you want to check those out. Thanks for watching.